Dragon Ball Daima episode 20, the final episode of the series, airs at the end of this week, but there's still a few things that we gotta wrap up first. We just recently got the debut of not only Super Saiyan 3 Vegeta, but also Super Saiyan 4 Goku, both officially making their first appearances in the canon Dragon Ball storyline. Unfortunately, however, as we would see from the previous two episodes of Daima, these transformations still wouldn't be enough to take down Supreme Demon King Goma. So, what does this mean for the conclusion of Dragon Ball Daima? How will Goku and the others finally wrap this up and defeat Goma after being turned back into adults thanks to Glorio's wish? In this video, we're going to talk about exactly what my speculations are for the end of Dragon Ball Daima, and down below in the comments, let me know how you guys think this series concludes Friday. But without further ado, let's hop right in. Dragon Ball Daima has been an amazing ride so far, and I want to thank and say rest in peace once again to Akira Toriyama. I gotta admit though, I will be completely honest and transparent. I wasn't too sold on Daima at first, but after the first couple of episodes, it was clear that this was eventually gonna be peak. Now that we've reached the conclusion of the series, there's a couple of things that are still left unexplained and unexplored. A couple episodes ago, before Goku and the others were switched back to adults while he was fighting Goma initially, he dropped the little pouch he was carrying that held the join bugs he originally got from the third demon world. And it was pretty obvious that they were putting a little bit of extra attention on this, so I find it really hard to believe that we won't see these things being used before the end of the series. But in episode 19, the Z Fighters would hatch another plan to defeat Goma, and it definitely didn't include any type of fusion, just yet at least. After Rinsu and Majin Ku retrieved the Book of Magic from the castle while Vegeta was keeping Goma occupied, she would realize that Supreme Demon King Abra, once upon a time, was actually able to use and remove the third eye at will. This is when she would discover how he was able to do so thanks to her research. She goes on to tell Goku, Piccolo, and the others that in order to remove the third eye from Goma, they have to hit him in the back of the head 3 times. So after we learned about this method, this is when Vegeta would finally step down, thanks to Bulma, of course, threatening him in one of the funniest scenes I've seen in Dragon Ball. Now it's Goku's turn again as he transformed back into a Super Saiyan 4 for the first time in his adult body, with Piccolo of course hiding in the shadows waiting for that perfect opportunity to go up and chop Goma in the back of the head 3 times. Now Goma doesn't necessarily seem like an idiot to me, so I think this is still a pretty dangerous and difficult plan to pull off. And the last episode of Daima, according to Hype and Chronicles over on X, is still alleged to be a normal 24-minute episode. Now me, I'm of course still of the belief that a fusion will happen in this final episode, but with Super Saiyan 4 Goku and Piccolo now in the battle, things are gonna have to move kinda quickly for that to happen, all in this one episode. Goku and Vegeta fusing is almost a given, but if Daima wants to take a more interesting approach maybe, they could add one more person to this mix. When we first learned about the join bugs, it was explained to us that beings that shared this bug would join together, and it isn't just limited to 2 people. I think it'd be pretty cool if someone like maybe Glorio was another candidate for a fusion using this method as well. For weeks now, we've seen plenty of people, myself included, speculating that this is how we would end up seeing Gogeta or Vegeto, or I guess since it's a different fusion method entirely than the dance and the Pataras, he'd probably have a new name, right, being introduced into the Daima series. But not everybody is a huge fan of this line of thinking. Lots of fans have been vocal about fusion always being the, I guess, get out of jail free card for the Z Fighters, but I think it's apparent with the focus that was recently put on the bugs in Goku's pouch that even though we're about to be in the final episode of Daima, this is probably still coming. Again, this is all speculation. One thing I think that would be really cool to see is this merger of Goku and Vegeta and possibly whoever else taking on one of those later forms like Super Saiyan 3 and possibly even Super Saiyan 4, even though we've only seen Goku use it so far, and bringing one more thing that I've been waiting to see to the canon as well, the Dragon Fist. Goku's Dragon Fist is another product of his Super Saiyan 3 and Super Saiyan 4 forms that's still yet to see a debut in the canon Dragon Ball story, being seen only in movies, GT, and of course games. Once Piccolo or whoever is able to knock the third eye out of Goma's forehead, finishing him off with this insanely iconic move, whether it be a fusion or not, just seems like an amazing way to put the bow on such an amazing series like Dragon Ball Daima. Again, this is all speculation, but with one final episode remaining, there are still a few things that I'd like to see, as you guys can tell. Never giving Vegeta a similar power-up / mutation to Goku and allowing him to go Super Saiyan 4 as well would be another amazing way to deliver a final episode of Dragon Ball Daima, but it would also beg the question of why he never used this in Dragon Ball Super as well. But this could also lead to that coveted Super Saiyan 4 fusion we've been waiting for as well. I mean, could you guys imagine a brand new Super Saiyan 4 fusion that isn't Gogeta or Vegeta wrapping up a series like Dragon Ball Daima after everything we've seen in not just the past 2 or 3 episodes, but like the past 6 or 7 episodes really, in my opinion, all the way back to when Super Saiyan 3 Vegeta had his first debut in the series versus the Tamagami. I know that this is obviously asking for a lot to happen in the last 24 minutes of the show, but chances are at least some of this will happen. Like, I wouldn't be scared to put my money on at least the fusion still being possible. In my personal opinion, I don't think everything simply ends with Super Saiyan 4 Goku distracting Goma long enough for Piccolo to smack him in the back of the head 3 times. That'd be a pretty underwhelming ending for how far Daima has come at this point. Super Saiyan 3 Vegeta and Super Saiyan 4 Goku merging forces with the join bug seems like the most likely, since whenever Goku gets his pouch back with all the bugs in it, Vegeta will probably be given another revival bug since he had already asked for one previously, allowing him to of course get his energy back and rejoin the fight in order to help Goku create that opening for Piccolo. Of course, you know, Bulma's not letting him fight by himself anymore. However, this eventually ends up playing out. I think maybe Piccolo gets discovered by Goma trying to be sneaky, and I think this is what eventually leads into the join bugs being remembered and finally being used. Now, of course, they'll still have to do what Arinsu said by dislodging the third eye from Goma, or else he'll just keep healing and never expend any stamina. But from what we've seen of literally every Goku and Vegeta fusion in the past, if ever and whenever this happens, their power and speed will be so immensely multiplied that they should easily be able to pull this off by themselves, really. I can't wait to see what the conclusion of Dragon Ball Daima has in store for us, so let me know down below in the comments how you think the series completes its final episode. And if you're a believer that this fusion is still gonna happen, leave the name of what this new fusion of hopefully just Goku and Vegeta could be called. If there happens to be a third party involved in this fusion like Glorio, well, that makes things a little bit more interesting, right? I hope you guys really enjoyed this video. I love doing these little discussion sit downs with you fellas, and I hope Dragon Ball Super makes a return soon after the conclusion of Daima so we can continue these types of videos. But anyways, have a great day, and I'm gonna see you all in the next one. Bye guys.